Disney actress with this. I'm Monika and you're watching Disney Channel. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monika and I like movies. I think that's pretty clear by now. Today's video was a requested one from my past Zodiac videos, but this time is the perfect movie for each Hogwarts house. I was very excited to do this one because unlike my Zodiac sign, which I don't really feel that identified with, I really feel identified with my Hogwarts house, which is... I'm not gonna tell you. I want to know if you can guess what my Hogwarts house is. Don't be fooled by my shirt. This doesn't mean anything. But anyways, I really want to know if you guys can guess what my house is just from my vibes. So let me know in the comments. I will, however, be posting a photo on Instagram and I will be letting you guys know what my house is in that photo, and I will be posting it probably maybe the same day or a couple days later after this video is uploaded. So ooh, the mystery. Okay, now without further ado, let's start with Hufflepuff. For each house, I picked 2 movies and then a special mention. I feel like Hufflepuff are very misunderstood. For some reason, a lot of people just hate Hufflepuff, or at least it was like this years ago whenever like someone got Hufflepuff in the sorting quiz. A lot of people would be like, I'm not a Hufflepuff, I don't want to be Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff are really nice people, and I don't know why people never wanted to be in Hufflepuff, but you know what? Respect. I respect Hufflepuff, and you should too. Hufflepuff are known to be really nice. They are very just and very loyal. Always try to do what's right, but not only what is right, most importantly, what is nice. They never want to hurt people's feelings. They always want to get along with everybody, and they are just generally really nice people. Because they are very patient and they generally just want to make people happy, a lot of people think that they're not courageous. A lot of people think they don't have courage or that they're not go-getters, but this is not true. They just take their time. They are a little bit more patient with people. They just want everyone to eat cake and be happy.
Wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
They are very loyal friends and they are very, very hard workers. They are not arrogant at all. In fact, they're very humble and they're very honest. But because they like to see the good in everybody, they could be considered very naive sometimes and they could be tricked very easily. Okay, so my first movie pick for Hufflepuff is Amélie. Amélie? I don't know. Amélie is a French movie that is so whimsical and charming and quirky, and it's just one of the most feel-good movies that I've ever seen. So Amélie is a young woman who wants to change people's lives in very small ways. However she can, she tries to bring a little bit of happiness to everyone around her. She kind of lives in this fantasy world, and she has this huge imagination, and everything she does, she just does it out of the pureness of her heart. She's just very kind to literally everyone. This movie is definitely, ay Dios mío, ¿por qué está tan oscuro? Is extremely unique. It is so freaking charming. Even the color palette in it, I feel like it's usually a color palette that I wouldn't like. It's very green and red, but it just fits this movie so well. Amélie just has this childlike wonder that I feel like is very true to Hufflepuffs. The second movie I'm going to talk about is The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I've already talked about this movie. It was honestly my second favorite movie of all last year, 2019. This movie was just such a joy. I just loved it so much. I feel like it just really fits Hufflepuff in the same way that kind of Amélie does. It just such a feel-good movie. So in The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Jimmy Fails is pretty much obsessed with this house in San Francisco. He goes to this house every single day. It's not his house, it's some other people's house. He says that his grandfather built it. He just has this deep connection to this house. He tries to fix it and paint it and just keep it looking alive and keep it looking nice and fresh. With this movie, I was literally smiling from ear to ear from the very beginning scene up until the end. Honestly, I feel like it's become one of my favorite movies. I'm just really sad that it didn't really get as much recognition last year. Jimmy being kind of naive, even his best friend as well. I feel like it really fits Hufflepuff in that way. I feel like Hufflepuff would really like movies that are just feel good, that exude joy. Okay, so now for the special mention for Hufflepuff is Whisper of the Heart, which is a Studio Ghibli movie that I sadly couldn't include in my last video about the zodiac signs because I just thought that other movies fit better for the signs. But for this one, I feel like Whisper of the Heart really fits Hufflepuff. I'm not gonna explain it at length because, like I said, it's a special mention and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But the two main characters of this movie, they're just so hardworking and so loyal that I feel like in that way they could really fit with Hufflepuff. In some ways, it does remind me of Hufflepuffs, but it also reminds me of other houses such as Ravenclaw. It's still such a great movie, and Hufflepuffs, you should watch it. You will enjoy it. It's by Studio Ghibli, so of course it's going to be beautiful. Okay, that's it for Hufflepuff. Let's go to Ravenclaw. Ravenclaws are, of course, very intelligent, they're very witty, and they value knowledge and wisdom above all things. They could be considered know-it-alls, but ultimately they always make the smartest decisions. They have this huge thirst for knowledge and learning, which makes them extremely curious. They're always asking questions to get even more knowledge in them. They can also be very quirky and individualistic, as you can see in Luna Lovegood, for example. Because they're so smart, they can really think outside the box and get really creative with ways to solve things. Okay, so my first pick for Ravenclaw is The Imitation Game. The Imitation Game is an amazing movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch. He plays Alan Turing, who is a cryptoanalyst, a mathematician, who is just misunderstood by everybody because he really isn't like everybody else. He is hired to try to crack this unbreakable code from a German machine called the Enigma. I feel like this movie really resonates with the individualistic part of Ravenclaw, as well as obviously the intelligence, the thirst for knowledge, and the fact that they make the smartest decisions. I feel like this movie definitely has all of those elements, and it's kind of like, no pun intended, but it's kind of like an enigma. Benedict's performance is just amazing, and the movie itself, it's like a roller coaster of emotions. My second pick for Ravenclaw is Shutter Island. I feel like a lot of people have seen Shutter Island. It takes a lot of twists and turns, and basically your mind gets blown away. This movie was directed by Martin Scorsese and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he goes to this island called Shutter Island that is a mental hospital. He goes there to investigate the disappearance of a patient, and in the process, things get weird. You think that you know what's happening, but actually you don't. And I feel like Ravenclaws would really like trying to solve this mystery, figure out what's really happening in this island. For the special mention, I picked Get Out, which was directed by Jordan Peele, and I feel like probably a lot of people have watched Get Out already. Technically, it's a horror movie, but I don't feel like it's scary. This movie is about this guy who is African American, but he has a Caucasian girlfriend, and they have to go meet her whole family, who is all white people, and he just feels very out of place because it's a room full of white people who are just acting very, very strange. Obviously, we don't know why, but we find out later. And just like the other movies that I picked, you're always wondering what the heck is happening. You're always trying to figure it out as you watch the movie. So I think that's what Ravenclaws would really like about this movie. It's an amazing movie, so original, and it really, really sparked conversation, which I loved. I just loved this movie so much. Okay, that is it for Ravenclaw. Now let's go to Slytherin. Another kind of misunderstood house. I feel like when people think of Slytherin, they think that they're just evil and mean, when it's not necessarily the truth. Slytherins are extremely ambitious and determined, and they are very intelligent. They always want to be the best at everything they do, better than everybody else. And because they are so ambitious and so resourceful, they really can achieve whatever they set their minds to, and they can really end up in high positions of power. Everything new that they learn, they try to use it for their advantage. For them, it doesn't really matter how you get there, the end goal is what is important. So the reason why in Slytherin there's so many evil people is because all of these traits can be used either for good or for bad. But you know, it doesn't mean that all of Slytherins are just bad people, because they really aren't. They can sometimes make bad decisions, of course, but at the end of the day, they can still learn and better themselves. Okay, so my first pick for Slytherin is the movie Atonement. I love this movie so much. I was really excited to pick it for Slytherin because I feel like it fits perfectly. It stars Saoirse Ronan when she was just a little girl, and it's actually her first Oscar nomination. She was like, I think she was like 13, but it was her first Oscar nomination. Queen. So in this movie, Saoirse Ronan plays this little girl, Bryony. She's part of this wealthy family who lives in a mansion, and then this young man, James McAvoy, he is of course not wealthy like the rest of the family, but still him and Bryony's sister Cecilia, played by Keira Knightley, began this romantic kind of sensual attraction to each other. This really upsets Bryony because she has this big old crush on him. Bryony makes really selfish decisions just for her own good. This movie makes you really hate Bryony. I think this movie really resonated with me with Slytherin because, like I said, all of these traits can either be used for good or for bad, and I feel like Bryony, she went the completely wrong way and made these really selfish decisions that I'm not gonna tell you right now. I feel like it definitely fits Slytherin, at least for her character, very well, and it's just a really good movie. Okay, so the second movie that I'm gonna talk about is The Social Network. I think this movie is probably very obvious a Slytherin movie. All of these dudes are just, they're all Slytherins. The Social Network, of course, explores how Facebook was essentially created and all of the legal issues that the people involved faced. Obviously, with the power that these young men held at such a young age came a lot of selfishness, a lot of egos, and it depicts very ambitious young men. So I feel like it could really resonate with Slytherins, and it's just very interesting because obviously it's based on real life. Okay, so my special mention for Slytherin is Ingrid Goes West. The reason why it's a special mention is because I don't feel like it's a total Slytherin movie. So this movie stars Aubrey Plaza, and she is this very obsessive girl who essentially she's a stalker of this influencer. She tries to copy her in every single exact way, and she tries to basically live her life. She moves to LA, she tries to infiltrate herself into this influencer's life, played by Elizabeth Olsen, by the way, and she just lies her way through, you know, this friendship. I feel like it's a Slytherin movie in the way that she just went after what she wanted, even though it was obviously completely wrong, but she really went after what she wanted. She was very ambitious. In that way, I feel like it's a Slytherin movie, but it could also not be in some other ways. Again, it's a really good movie. I love Aubrey Plaza so much. Okay, we are done with Slytherin, and now for the final house, Gryffindor, the house of Harry Potter, Hermione, Ron. Gryffindor is the house of the brave, the courageous. They are very adventurous and they have a lot of nerve. They can actually fit into other houses as well, but because they're so brave, they can actually ask the sorting house to sort them into Gryffindor. That takes a lot of courage to do. Gryffindors usually like to do what is right, but this doesn't stop them from doing things recklessly. They will definitely stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves, even if this means that they are in danger themselves. Like I said, they can show so much bravery. This can be really obvious, like in some cases, for example, Harry Potter, Hermione, Ron, but it can also be very subtle bravery, like Neville. Okay, so the first movie pick for Gryffindor is a movie that I love so much, and it's called Kubo and the Two Strings. This is an animated movie by the studio Laika. It's about Kubo, a young boy who has this magical instrument and he tells stories with it. He accidentally summons a spirit from his past. This results in him having to go on a quest to save his family. He goes on this heroic journey and he has to fight evil monsters. This movie definitely screams Gryffindor to me. Kubo is just this young boy who, you know, all of a sudden has to be the savior of everybody, and he has to find this courage inside of him to be able to do that. Just reminds me a lot of Harry Potter, I'm just saying. First time that I watched it, I was on a plane and did not care who was around me. I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying because it was just very emotional. But yeah, this movie is so well made. The animation looks incredible. Like I said, just a very heroic journey that can really resonate with the Gryffindors. Okay, so the next movie for Gryffindors that I picked is Edward Scissorhands. I mean, everybody has heard of Edward Scissorhands, but the reason that I picked this movie is because I feel like Edward has this bravery inside of him that is not so obvious like Harry Potter, but it's more subtle like Neville. So Edward Scissorhands is this young man who was created by this inventor, but instead of hands, he has a bunch of blades. He has to just live his life being essentially a freak in the eyes of everybody. So he is hugely misunderstood. Edward has this really gentle air to him. He's very lonely, very shy. He doesn't really know how to behave with others. He's just very awkward. I feel like by the end of the movie, he finds this courage inside of him, which is why I picked it for Gryffindor. Okay, now for the special mention for Gryffindors, I chose Dead Poets Society. Dead Poets Society stars Robin Williams. He's a teacher, a new teacher at this really prestigious academy, and he is not like any other teacher at this school. He encourages students to learn in different ways. He tells them to stand in their desk. He teaches them about poetry, and in the eyes of everybody else at the school, he's not what an educator is supposed to be at this school. He encourages his students to seize the day and to live boldly, and for this reason his students really care for him. The reason why I chose it for Gryffindor is because I think that he is such a great leader. He does what he thinks is right for his students. Doesn't really care so much about the rules, and like I said, he encouraged them to live boldly, which I feel like is something that Gryffindors do. It is an amazing movie, so if you still haven't watched it, please go and do it now after this video. And we're done. This is my roommate's robe. She lent it to me for this video. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree with my picks, or if you don't. If you have better recommendations for each house, anything is welcome in the comments. Please let me know. Remember, I will be posting my Hogwarts house in my Instagram. If you want to find out, or if you want to take a guess, you can do so in the comments as well. Let me know if you guys like this video, and if you want to watch similar videos to this, such as the perfect movie for each zodiac sign, I will leave them in the description box below, and also in the end screen at the end of this video. With that said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.